Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Indy back at you with another video recap. Um, this is a recap of the month of June. So, I'm going to get into the numbers, talk about what happened. First, I'm going to pull up this chart over here. So you can kind of see when you look at this, the monthly chart, this was, my first, this was one of my weakest months that I've had in a long time. So I haven't had a month where I was clearing below 10 grand since November. And kind of see, January here made 11.3, close to 30 grand in February, about 10 grand in March, 16 grand, it's called 17 grand in April. And then, the previous month before June, May, was able to make 17,500. So this month you can kind of see only made $1,600. And I'm going to kind of talk about, why those numbers are lower than, the previous months before and, kind of what happened. So just kind of get into it. The month of June was just all around a very slow month in the OTC market, So there was, and not to say that that's the reason why I didn't clear as much, because even in a slower market, I should be able to clear, more than $1,600. But, I made a couple mistakes, made a few mistakes, and a couple of them were like pretty big mistakes. They were mistakes that, I wasn't able to quote unquote recover from as easy in a slower market. In a hot market like we saw December through February, I can take bigger style losses because there's another A plus setup right around the corner. And that just wasn't the case in June. As far as what I consider my A plus setup, I didn't have a single one of them there was one the entire month. And, even that setup, I wasn't even at the computer for it. So I completely missed the entire thing. Let me kind of get into, what the numbers and the stats specifically for the month. Cool. All right, cool. So $1,600 overall. On average, I made about $80 a day. My profit factor was, super low, and that comes with taking bigger losses. I talk about, your minimum profit factor you want to have is probably, anywhere from, you want to have at least two. So at least two is where you want to be your profit factor, which means that your gains are twice as big as your losses. So let's say you take you make $100,000 of gains in a month, and you take $50,000 worth of losses. Your profit factor would be 2. Your gains were twice as much as your losses. So all around, my stats are lower. Besides, my winning percentage is 60%, so that's pretty good. But like I talk about in all my video recaps, your winning percentage doesn't mean much if your losses are greater than or close to the size of your wins. And when you look at my my average winning trade, $553, and my average losing trade was $754. So that's the first time where on average my losers are bigger than my wins. So just an all around, kind of just slow month, frustrating month at times. But the thing is, I still stayed safe. I didn't have a red month. And my account is still at a very healthy level, where even though I didn't make much money this month, that's kind of the importance of, milking the market when it's hot, so that you can kind of relax and chill and sit on your hands when it's not, or when things are not coming as quick, when the money's not coming in as fast. I'm at, I think, 85 grand halfway through this year. So, I'm still in a very good position. So that's the importance of taking advantage of the hot market and the opportunities when it's there, so that when months like this happen, I'm not stressing. I'm not worrying about, where I'm going to get money from. I'm still just in a very relaxed mode. Um, and I'll kind of talk about, yes, yeah, these numbers are all around lower. For example, the profit factor is 1.12, but my profit factor for the year is 3.5. I'm at $86,000 on the year. 61% win percentage. Average win is still more than twice my average loss for the year. So the numbers are still good on the yearly basis. It's just that this month has definitely been a little bit different. So the majority of this video is going to be me talking about what I did wrong, because I really didn't have any of my setups set up. Any of my setups really show up this month. But I still could have had like a 5-figure month just doing, just playing like less quality setups with smaller size, had I just not taken a couple big losses on a couple different tickers. So first thing I'm going to talk about in this video is, the last thing I talk about before I get into the actual charts and stuff like that is, let me see. Here we go. So something that I learned from one of the bigger traders that I follow was that the market is it's kind of like the casino. So your edge is there in the beginning, and it's there at the open, but like the longer you stay in the market, the more of a chance there is that you're going to give back the money that you've made. So that's why the casino, they have all these incentives to keep you there at the casino. They'll even give you, they'll give you free vouchers for like hotels and stuff like that, because they know if they can get you to stay there, then, you're eventually going to give them your money statistically. And that's something that I've been trading by since I started, and I kind of drifted away from it this month. And you can kind of see, I have $5,990 in gains between 9:30 a.m. and 10 p.m. And then I gave back $5,326 in the hours between about 2 and 3 p.m. So had I just been able to walk away in the mornings and not come back in the afternoon, then I would have been able to avoid a lot of these losses. So one of my goals going into next month is to, nail my opportunities in the morning and, step away in the afternoon, only come back if there's some sure crazy opportunity. Otherwise, just kind of let things run, because the data shows me that I'm good in the morning. That's where my edge is. That's where I execute, and that's where I make my stress-free money. When you rewind this to look at the numbers year to date, it's kind of the same thing. You can see with $85,000 in profits, $77,000 comes within the first half hour of the market, and then I get back a little bit in that 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock range. So if my edge is here and 95% of my money, I want to say that's about 90 something percent. 77 divided by 80. So my edge is there, and 91% of my money comes between the hours of 9:30 a.m. and 10 p.m. Why am I going to stay to give back money? And it's also a lot harder to trade during these hours. It's a lot more choppy. There's a lot more going on, and it's just not my straightforward setup. So coming into into the month of July, I'm going to be stepping away from trading as much in the afternoon. Stick to my A+ setups in the morning, or even B setups, and just nail them. If it's a B setup, I'm obviously going to be going in with smaller size, but I'm still going to be able to make a lot more money and have a lot better quality of life if I just do that. Step away in the afternoon and just come back the next morning. So I'm going to kind of get into the charts. Like I said, this video is going to be mostly about things that I do wrong. So GVSI, similar theme from the month, similar theme from the month before. You had George Sharp tweeting about different tickers that he's apparently going to be taking custodianship of, and one of the two hottest tickers when it came to that was GVSI and RETC. So on this day right here after hours, I'm lying. On this day right here after hours, George Sharp came and he said that he tweeted GVSI with a smiley face. And the next day, he said that he was going to put out some good news about GVSI and his efforts with custodianship in the morning. So you can kind of see a massive gap up, closed at 2 cents and gapped up to 3.3 cents. I think it was like an 80% gap up or something like that. Just absolutely massive. So I'm going to get into the, what's it called? And one of the things I'm going to be talking about, in my course is buy the rumors, sell the news events, or buy the rumors, short the news. So I'm going to I'll talk about it a little bit in this video because this was, at the time, my biggest single loss on any given trade. I can just find it real quick. Cool. So this is the day right here. This is the 1 minute chart now. You can see a massive gap up from where it closed at down here, opened up all the way down here. I nailed this little morning spike right here. And then, George, everybody, I think it was kind of slowly uptrending. I was up 4 figures on the day. I think close to 1,500 or something like that. Maybe more. And, George Sharp came and said the tweet's going to be coming out at, 10:30 a.m. So the tweet came out and it was good news about the company. But one thing you have to know about buy the rumor, sell the news events, especially in the OTC market, is that when they come out and they release, and when somebody comes out and says that some news is coming out, or maybe they put out a tweet or something that says, we're going to be announcing X, Y, and Z, we're going to be announcing something. A lot of times you'll see the stock act favorably right up until the news comes out. Because once the news comes out, it's like, all right, it's already been priced in because everybody knows it's happening. So by the time this thing came up, the stock has already made about a 90% move. So once he put out the tweet, I knew exactly what time the tweet was coming out at. So I sold my shares and I was good. But when the tweet came out, I got a little bit greedy and, the price action looked kind of favorably. I'm like, yeah, this thing is probably going to dump. This is right when the tweet comes out on this green candle right here. I'm like, yeah, the stock is probably going to tank, but, I could probably get a quick move on it. People buying the news, whatever, and I'll just get out really quickly. And then, boom, it literally, the second that I bought, there was a complete washout. 23% dip. And I got caught with close to a $25,000 position, I think. About $25,000 position. And I took a huge loss on that. And I lost $4,000 because I couldn't get out. I've never seen a drop like this in the OTC market on a sell the news event. But that was the epitome of what buy the rumor, sell the news event was. And I stepped away after this loss because, it's, like I said, it's an unforgiving market. There was absolutely no opportunity to make it back in the OTC market. There was nothing going on, no favorable price action. So I'm not going to sit there and turn what was a $2,600 red day into a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 red day. So I just, forgot about it. And I took the red day that day. And this was an even more frustrating play. This play right here is WSRC, and I'm actually gonna rewind and show you the daily chart first. So I played it on this day right here, these 2 days right here. You can kind of see a stock that's never really done anything, never had any volume, and then all of a sudden they had a huge PR, huge press release. So like normal, it pops up on my scanner. And the frustrating thing about this was I was at the doctor's office, so I completely missed the play. And this was just an incredible runner. This is something that I've been looking for all month. It's something with high volume and huge range. From when the PR dropped, you got a run up of you made a 1,200% move on the day. You're not seeing those type of gains anywhere in finance. The stock literally went from about 2-3 cents all the way up to 25 cents in a day on huge volume. I could have got whatever size I wanted on this play. Like if I wanted it, if I was able to put in like 100 grand, 200, 300 grand, I could do that easily in the volume that this trade offered. The volume was just so incredible, and it was just a sweet, solid uptrend on like a $3.2 billion contract news. So I was up 4 figures going into this trade. I was up 4 figures on the day. I want to say like $1,600 maybe. And I got chopped around because I was very convicted that this thing was going to close strong and it was going to continue to keep on moving and stuff like that. But I got kind of chopped up around in all this action, but I was still very highly convicted on the play. And once it checked in with VWAP over here, I was like, all right, I think that this thing has incredible volume. I think it has, good range. If this thing decides it doesn't want to get washed out and it holds VWAP, I'll take a buy. So I literally took a buy, right here off of VWAP, but it was a super small position because I wasn't too sure about it. And it just immediately starts going in my favor coming into Power Hour, and I'm up 60% on a $5,000 position the day before. So immediately, this becomes my A+ setup going into the next day. A stock that, ran huge first green day on volume, looking for the morning spike or the dip and rip in the morning. But you know what happens? The red to green level was right here at about 25 cents. And, I go full size on this and I go to take a buy for the morning spike because you can kind of see it kind of wick to the upside. You can see the little white line on the top of this red candle right here. And I thought it was going for the morning spike and it wasn't. And then immediately, I couldn't get down. You have this huge red candle and it just like washed in my face. I tried to get out, couldn't get out. I got slippage. And that just goes to show that, even if something is your A+ setup, your sizing, your ability to cut losses quickly still has to be on point. I took a 20% loss on a 40 grand position, lost about $6,500 on this trade right here. So, that hurt because it was a dry month and I was thinking, this is the first solid setup going into the day before. And it just completely tanked in my face. Just completely tanked in my face. And those two plays were what really made the month suck so bad. Because if you take away losing $6,500 on this day and you take away that $3,700 loss, I'm still up at least 10 grand on the month, So the last stock I'll talk about, which is PBYA. All right, cool. So this is the last stock I'll talk about, and this was one of the good trades that I have. But again, I probably should have just chilled after I made the trade. But this is recording of the live tape for this stock. I'll kind of show you the daily chart really quickly. This is the daily chart right here, and you kind of see stock that wasn't really doing much of anything. All of a sudden on this day right here, this big green day, you get a huge gap up from, I think it's about a 40% gap up right here on a contract with Tesla. So I had high conviction on the play. I actually thought it would do a lot more than it did that day because a little small OTC company had a partnership with Tesla. But, like I said, OTC market has been pretty dry lately. So right out of the gate, cool. So right out of the gate, when the market opens up, you have what I consider to be pretty light volume. I want to see at least a few hundred trades go in very quickly to get my buys off of the open. But I didn't get that. I didn't think the volume was there. So I just kind of let this thing ride. But then as the thing is starting to move up, and this will make a lot more sense if you go back and watch my YouTube video of the RSHN, so you can see how to read level 2 and tape and stuff like that. This thing was spiking pretty nicely. But it wasn't until right here that I got super convicted when I started to see someone, bidding 24 million shares, and the highest seller is only trying to sell 10,000 shares. You got 4 market makers over here. And now another person popped up with 20 million. So 45 million over here and only 10,000 over here. Super strong buyer action. And if I had smaller size typed out, I would have sent an order in, but I had huge size relative to the volume. So I wasn't comfortable putting that much size in it. And I kind of just let this thing spike on me. And you can kind of see, I'm speeding up the action right here. You can kind of see it just makes a nice, huge morning spike. So my thesis of it is that it probably has at least one more go in it. And as this thing is coming down, I'm looking to buy the first dip, buy the first pullback, because that's a setup that I like when a stock is making a nice morning spike. I'm looking to buy that first dip, especially if it can, kind of hold VWAP. So this thing is kind of coming down. And we're at 0052 right here, and I immediately start thinking, key supports and resistance normally happen around round numbers. So half-cent levels, half a cent, a cent, a penny and a half, 2 pennies, $1, $1.50, $2. Those whole dollar, half cent, whole cent levels are very key psychological levels. So, I'm super convicted at this point, thinking, all right, if this holds 005, I'm going to slam it. And you can kind of see bidders start to stack up. And it's still looking a little bit shaky, but for right now it's holding. And I'm thinking the longer it holds here, if it holds, that'll be a perfect dip buy. So 005 is still holding. And you can also see it's right above VWAP. So a nice little VWAP bounce, first pullback. And then bidders start to stack up here. Now you got 5 market makers over here and only 1 over here. And I see that level's holding, and I slam it. And this is actually my buy orders right here. This 2.5 million share buyer and this million shares right here, about a $17,000, $18,000 position. And I slam it right here at 0051. And immediately, I'm right on the money. We stack up with huge size right after my buy orders come in. And I'm able to make a nice, 20%. And I sold, right at the top of this move right here, right before it started coming down. And I locked in $3,600 on that play. And then because it was Tesla news, I thought it was going to do a lot more, but it just didn't. And I gave back most of those gains, and I finished up only like $1,200, which again is something that I don't want to do in a slower market condition because, there's just not as much of an opportunity to make back those gains. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm still, ready to have a good July, ready to keep this year rocking. But I also know that summer months are summer months, so they're notably slower every year. The summer months are pretty slow. So if that's the case, then I'll continue to make, small gains, pull whatever out of the market that I can. But that's the importance of having cash on hand so that, if the market is struggling, if the market is slow and you're struggling, you still have cash that you can still pay your bills. You can still, enjoy your life, have fun, go out, do whatever you do, and not have to worry about it. So, that's my mindset going into July. And, I'm just hoping to have a lot better of a month and most importantly, not give back gains later on in the day. So, guys, give me a like, give me a subscribe, Appreciate you guys for watching, man.